Cedric.
Good evening. This is a meeting of the Groton Board of Education being held on Monday, February 2nd, 2026 at the central office. It is 6:10 and I'll call the meeting to order. This is actually a budget workshop meeting. I'm pretty sure this is the second one of a series of budget workshop meetings. In attendance in person, we have John Corcoran, we have Jen White, myself, Bev Washington, Adrian Johnson, and Mitch Shimbrock, and, Karen Hyde.
Hotel, Miss Hyatt.
That's what I do.
I won't now remember.
You can call me whatever you want.
I'll call you Hilton.
These two little, Rita Posiak, and of course the superintendent of school. And online we have, Mike Whitney's online now, see? And
Jay.
we have Jay, and we have Dr. Ackerman. And we have a slew of principals. We have the principal from Charles Barnum. That's Stephanie Sawyer. We also have the assistant superintendent, Anne Marie Mancini. And
Dr. Wheeler.
We have Jamie Giordano.
I think Stephen Wheeler is.
Steve Wheeler.
Ryan.
Who?
Ryan Cheney.
Ryan Cheney. Okay. And welcome everyone. This should be a nice, fun meeting. We're going to start off with preschool.
We're going to actually start off with elementary. So we can kind of march through in kind of order, and then we'll go to preschool and special education as it relates to the early learners.
So we'll start off with elementary, PK through 5. And here's Mike Whitney in person. See, he wasn't cold, Jen. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so I just want to say thank you to the team led by Rita. And Rita and Lori spent a lot of time on the FTEs, doing the very best. I think really they're probably more accurate than we've ever seen. So as we go through, if you have any questions, please let us know. I know that Mike Whitney's already sent a few frequently asked questions. We've added the 27 tab, and he got us rocking and rolling, and that's going to come up during the secondary. So we're going to work on that too, because a lot of it has to do with, are there more FTEs? Why am I not seeing the FTEs? And there's more of a cost. But remember that we have negotiated contracts. So, you know, the cost is related to the steps in the negotiated contract. And also, we usually put, when we've got a vacancy for a teacher, we usually put the number 65,000, thinking that we really try to get someone in the first few years. But in courses in the high school, like chemistry and math and physics and, you know, some of the math science courses, some of the harder to reach, you might have someone who is more experienced, and then that is not the right number. So you might see some lifts through that too. So just as an opener to the budget process. We did put in a narrative, and as we have before, we put in notes that, you know, of changes. So we have paraprofessionals in this section as well, and they could be coded as 331 or IDEA as well. So this isn't the whole total number of the paraeducators that we have in our district, especially at the elementary level, but it is some of them, and you know, through our operating budget. So if you have any questions about the FTEs, I know that we did do, we went through an enrollment section so you could see what was the expected FTEs at each of the schools. And, you know, depending on the submarines that come in and out and, you know, enrollment, things could change, but we do our best guess estimate, you know, months before we start school. So
I have on the 111 and 130, regular ed and special ed teacher aides, and it has FTE change 7.2. Should that be 7.3? Did I add it wrong?
Could be rounding.
Yeah.
I'd have to look at the
There's
spreadsheet, because it isn't as,
I'm adding 3 and 4.
but I mean,
4 could really be 3, 5 or something.
Like
come up with .3 also. Yeah.
Okay, well,
We'll double
Because
check.
I don't go out 2 digits, I'll have to double check the
okay.
2 digits.
This is one.
These are spreadsheets that it might round down or up a point.
The STEM teacher. We're adding a STEM teacher somewhere. See where it says STEM? So
I
now
think
last year
that was the
one and
teacher,
this year was 2.
that was the teacher that came off of a grant and has gone, we actually have 2 STEM teachers at the elementary level. One last year was being paid by a grant and one was in the operation budget. So it is a net change of 1.
Okay. You might want to put that in.
Okay.
And we're losing a half a teacher at Thames River and Northeast. I could see Northeast for Thames River. Right. I don't know if I could see Northeast.
So,
And we're putting them at Charles Barnum. Is that what's happening?
So if you look at the adopted budget versus the actual stays the same. So it's the change in what actually happened versus what the budget was.
Okay.
So-
All right.
yeah,
So you didn't need that
we
point
didn't
five
need,
teacher?
no. And I don't know what that
And-
really was.
Is Lori online? She might know.
Lori, are you online?
Let's see here.
You don't see her? I know she was planning on getting online.
Yeah.
She might be running late.
But at Thames River, the actual was 23, and now it's proposed is 22. So you're losing the teacher there?
It looks like we've lost, it was adopted at 2.5, so it looks like we lost 0.5.
The FTE change goes off of what was budgeted, what was adopted, not actual.
Oh, okay. So we're losing a 0.5 there. Anybody have any questions about page 7 anyway?
Is the reason that we're losing teachers because of budget, or is it because of enrollment?
It could be because they're grant funded, not because.
Because this says excludes grant positions.
Correct.
though.
It excludes grant positions, so.
It's only in the operating budget, but they could have come off of a grant and gone
Correct.
onto operating budget, or vice versa.
Vice versa. So I will have to look into those, and
Okay.
get you the details on the,
Just concerning that we're losing 7 teachers in special ed, which
These
is
aren't special
No,
ed.
no, this is special.
these aren't.
this says special ed teachers, aides, and regular.
Yeah, but you're only seeing the 7.2 from the regular and special ed aides,
That's
not the
aides.
teachers. And I said in the beginning that some of the paras are coded in 131
Okay.
and have been reclassified, or they're in the DODEA grant.
Okay. they're
Or
in
the,
DL.
I'm sorry, IDEA
IDEA.
grant. So that does happen year to year, that we're able to take on more of the aides in the IDEA grant. So if we're able to offset the operating budget, we try to do that as much
Okay.
as we can with IDEA.
We're trying to be really specific in terms of who we code to the grants.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And the object
Appreciate that.
130.
I'm just making sure that we're properly supporting our students.
Right.
Oh, yeah. You'll see the change in the special ed side, but the object code 130 is being phased out. That was the para ones as well, so that's why there's a coding change to the 131.
So none of the teachers, none of the aides
not
that we're
teachers.
losing are special ed?
We're not losing them, they're just.
Oh, they're just
They're
recoded.
just
They're being
reclassified.
reclassified.
Right,
Okay.
Okay.
correct,
And that's what it says on the bottom.
right.
Yeah.
Mike?
Yeah, thank you. So I was thinking that notes and changes, this is where, like that, having that description exactly, I mean, you do have all other pairs are coded 131, but something that explains, as you said, that, you know, even though there's 7.2 less aides in the budget here, that there might be in other places or grants, you know. Like, it'd just be helpful to have that line. I think you have them in some of their function codes. And then the other one, even though there's no net change in the certified teachers. Bev, you asked this, but so we're exchanging a health/PE teacher for a STEM teacher. Is that what's happening? Is that,
Yeah, because one is .6, one's .4, and then it's a...
No, I think that there was a reduction last year of a phys ed teacher who took on another job, and we didn't replace them because we had enough phys ed teachers, health teachers for we have one for each of the 5 schools. This STEM teacher, there were 2 of them, there have always been 2, but one was supported through a grant for several years. And now the grant has ended, so we needed we needed both of them to cover our intra-district magnet schools.
So that's my point, so maybe put that in an area.
yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah. And because there's that discussion, like, okay, so we've had a grant, and now it's coming off of the grant onto this part of the budget, and so I'm sure you can justify the need for them, right?
Yeah.
But that's easily put in.
You all set, Mike?
Yes, thank you.
Mitch?
Okay, I have several questions. How did you fund these people before they were on a grant?
We didn't have them. We didn't have intra-district magnets at the time. So this was going back probably to the Groton 2020, 2021, when we first started the intra-district magnets, and we had a long-lasting grant that supported it.
Okay, so this is the first time since that started that we're no longer getting grant money.
That for that particular position, yeah.
Okay. My next question is, where you say, well, all other paras are coded to 131. What's the difference between 131 and 130? Is that a para 1 versus para 2?
I believe so. We're grandfathering the 130
Okay.
because those paras are being grandfathered. They're now being coded as 131 going forward,
Okay. One more
except for
question.
some that are still
And then-
here, obviously.
And I also want to add the IDEA as well.
Yeah, it's in the
It could
1230, but I
be
can
either
add
or.
here. Yeah, I can add those notes.
Is there a difference in pay between the regular and special ed teacher aides?
No,
No, I think
just the para 1s and the para 2s have the biggest
Okay.
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
Thank you.
and Mitch, some of the regular ed aides are part-time because they're lunch and recess aides, so
they don't work the
they don't necessarily work the same number of hours.
Understood. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it can help if we create like a summary to say, these are the positions that are coming off of a grant going into operations, FTEs and associated dollars.
I'm going to put a note about the STEM teacher. That's
No, just like a one-page summary, so that it's all, so if there were like 6 positions that came off of a grant, we could see, it doesn't matter what function code they're in, just like a little summary to say 6 positions came off, or 10, whatever it may be, and just say these 6 equivalent to, I don't know, whatever, 360,000, whatever, something like that. Doesn't need to be tied to a function, just so that we can sort of see, like, okay, something that came from a grant that got absorbed into operations is roughly 400. I'm throwing numbers out, people. These are not real numbers. So what came into operations as ads is like 400,000, based on my example.
But we also have the reverse.
Yes,
Exactly.
correct.
That'd be great.
So if we
So do
have
the
that,
reverse.
so
Yeah.
do the reverse too. So maybe like the top section is all adds, and then the next section is like all the subtractions, and then the net, so that we could see it. I think it will help with these discussions here, and then we could just refer back to it. If not for this, but by the time we meet with, like Susan's presentation to the town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that something you could do, Rita?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Adrian, got any questions?
Yeah, I still have a question on 130 to 131. So we have no pairs classified as 131 in elementary that are paid for through our budget. Is that what I'm reading here?
I have to double check, but I think because the 130s are the para ones, and they're being grandfathered, there's less and less being coded to 130, so I have to double check if 0 are being coded to 130. I believe so, but I want to make sure I'm right.
But if they're not coded to 131, then they would be an IDEA.
Correct.
But so I'm just saying here, it shows nothing for 131. I don't see any coding to 131.
On page 53?
I think it's in our budget.
You'll zero it out.
I'm looking at page 7.
Right here.
All right.
I agree with them.
So, it looks like we're going to be, I mean, and I'm assuming that these are mostly aides and not necessarily the special ed pairs, right? Or is that?
That's a Denise question, because I've always called paras. I've never differentiated aides and paras. They've always been
Yeah.
one thing.
I see paras are affixed, we need to have as many as we need to have, and then the aides.
Right.
So do we have, I guess my question here would be, are we changing the amount of aides, like teachers' aides, lunchroom aides, bus aides, or I guess
No.
bus aides might be somewhere else. Are we effectively going to be the same next year for aides?
Actually, our numbers have grown. I think you have, what, 200 educators?
Yeah, we have approximately 204 to 208,
All right.
So we finally
Yeah, no,
been able to.
and the bulk of them are special education paras. There are a few in the general education budget that support lunch, the students at lunch and recess, and they're mostly part-time aides. So I think the intent was to code those aides that are full-time into special education, because the full-time aides are assigned to students,
all right.
and those students have IEPs.
Oh, so 131 is going to be in special education?
Yeah, it's in 1230, which is special education.
That's why it's
53.
I just,
Yeah,
the next page.
page 52 and 53, yep.
So
We're going to do that
we
tonight.
didn't, so just put on your book where it says reclassify. That's what I did. I put page 53, so I know
All
where
right,
they
so
are.
we got an increase of 12 there.
Yeah.
All right, that makes sense.
Any other questions?
And there is dollar figures to the 130 still, so there's still dollars in 130 on the next page.
Wow. That's the increase from, that's a big increase.
314,000.
Yeah, you wanna go ahead. Caitlin, you want to go to the next page? Thank you, Mike. Page 8.
So you see the salary account with the certified teachers, the aides, the substitutes, summer school, temporary regular aides, and salaries for the teacher in residence. And we had been doing a teacher in resident, but this year, because of the budget, we did not. And so I think we'll continue at this point to not hire them at this juncture. And then, of course, you have your workman's comp, and that is being changed over, moved to a central location, 2399, no longer 1700, because that didn't work for EFS, for our state reporting. So we do have a centralized location where you're going to see in every category that these benefits are moved to that 2399 section. I mean, that might even be worthy of a note in there, that benefits have been moved.
But it's moved in every single function, so.
I know.
Yeah, so I can put the note, but we are centralizing the benefits.
Yeah, that makes
Because
sense.
it just it's too cumbersome to budget $100 here for FICA. It's very
I
cumbersome
feel
to do
like we're
that.
going to get a better accurate
Yeah,
prediction
Yeah,
this
to
way.
be able to
I think
project.
that was recommended last year, too.
Was it?
I remember that coming up a lot.
Yeah, you came up with a
Yeah.
district-wide number, but we have to use the 2399.
Yeah, thank you. Well, forget it.
And then,
So I can put I can put-
What about pupil tests? Did you move that somewhere? puts a 0 for next year. Am I on the right page?
I don't think we have, I don't think we're paying for pupil test through the site budgets in any way. I mean, all of our testing, our SBAC testing has come through, the State Department, and I think, like that iReady assessment, that's probably in teaching and learning.
Curriculum,
so it wouldn't
right.
be in here, so.
But anything below the salary lines come from the schools, except for the jump in the 601 that is for iMath and...
The IM math, or the math that we select, and then the wit and wisdom continuing, while we had a large amount spent in that when we first went through, about $300,000. We do have to keep up with the notebooks and the book purchases and the workbooks that the kids have, so that's going to be an annual cost.
And that's the
So-
general classroom supplies.
Yeah, that's why that
Yeah,
jumps up.
I had a note, give me some examples. But that might be something else you might want to put in a narrative. Why that,
Well, I think, too, that the site budgets drive the cost for supplies and all things beyond, the salaries and benefits. So that's, and you all have that section. We went through the beginning object codes, and there was a section for the site budgets, and I know the principals are on if you had any questions about that. But they really do a really careful job at looking at what they have now and what they've spent, what their actual spending is, to really adjust and make ready for the following year.
On the website.
yeah, that's well and good, but when the town council gets this, they don't have to say budget, do they?
Yeah.
They do?
Yeah, it's in the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'll add the note about the wit and wisdom.
Okay.
Yeah, I would, because then
Yeah, because
that
that's-
section alone increases by 97%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big jump.
I'll add it.
You wouldn't always associate
Yeah,
assessments and tools like wit and wisdom to be called supplies.
right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, 'cause
But they are workbooks.
Supplies.
They're workbooks.
Well, and you can see the actual amount that was spent there under 24-25 was 174. So this isn't
Right.
outlandish, right?
Yeah.
Right.
The increase, so.
I have a question.
Mike, and then
Right before.
I didn't even see you raise your hand.
Just barely in. I just wonder about 595 admission fees. It was like 7,000 last year. You can see that it's always spent around like hundreds, and now I've got it at 38,000. I wonder if that's an area to cut.
Well, I think that's twofold. I think what the district does is we supply field trips at each grade level, so we have like this very strategic plan for kids to have trips with each of our project partners, whether it's NESS or Project O, at different grade levels, the aquarium. And so it's like a field trip by grade level for each of the grades in the elementary. So there is a transportation cost and there's admission fees related to that, but that's something that the district has always provided. Don't know why it was cut back so much, except that, and I can find out if it's beyond that, admission fees. I don't know. Could be the schools are also adding to the admission fees as well.
I think it is
They have
specific.
field trips specific to their themes.
But I do think some of that is specific to the district-wide field trips, admissions. But I can double-check that for you.
Yeah, because the last 2 years, like, I know not every field trip's happened this year.
Right.
The 100 number might be low, but the year before, we were at like 300. So,
you know that, Mike?
yeah.
And we might have paid it through a grant, so I have to double-check those.
Thank you.
Mitch?
First off, I want to ask, are there any Ks here that we, remember last time it turned out?
now this is real dollars here.
This is real dollars?
There's no
Okay.
sense. Good question. I looked into it. There's not another 3 digits on it.
Okay. That's why I asked.
No, $100 is $100.
Question too.
Is that why you asked, because $100? Yeah.
So, but the admission fees went up a tremendous amount of money.
Yeah, that's what we were just
I
saying.
know, and
have to-
I'm not sure I understand. what, okay.
Well,
I
because
have to
they
see
were-
really
which
understand.
department gave it to me, and then I can reach out to see what it's for. I have a feeling some of it's district-wide field trips, but and
Okay.
that might have been paid for.
I don't know, it could have been that we had budgeted for this year at, $72.50, and maybe that wasn't enough to cover it, because that's a lot of field trips when you think about every grade level classroom taking a trip. So,
Anyway, get back to us.
yeah,
on that.
we'll get back.
It's on my list, yes.
And for account 111, those are the special ed teacher aides that are coming off account 130 on the previous page.
I think 111 is regular ed.
Yeah, I think-
111 regular ed?
Yeah, I think those are the ones they're keeping in their budget. There are certain, I think they're keeping 12.3 in their budget,
Okay, that was.
so that would be for
Question, how
for
many?
those.
But if you look at previous years, it's in line with budgets in previous years.
Yeah, that wasn't a question.
Yeah, I have to look at it.
Okay, thank you.
The aides, like I said, are, to me, aides are the same as paras, but not here. I have to find out why.
But 111 is about 1.5 FTEs for that rate, or something like that.
You're saying
Well-
either the aides are different than the paras in our budget here.
They have been in the past. We're trying to move them all to the 131
Yeah, that would make sense.
because
That would
most of them are special ed.
So one's labeled as special ed teacher aides, and that's at $27,962. And the temporary regular teacher aides is at, $343,000, so
I think they're just kind of divided between those two accounts.
Yeah.
I think it would make sense to put them all together.
I feel it's confusing because the coding doesn't appear to be right every year. So I think moving them to 131 makes sense.
Anne
Yeah,
Marie,
it can be.
Because it's confusing.
Anne Marie has an answer, I
Oh.
think, to the field trip question.
Yeah, she might.
Well,
Anne Marie?
wait, let me see
Okay.
if Mitch is done.
Okay.
I'm done, thank you.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Anne Marie.
Thank you. I know there was some question about line number 595 and the increase. That's a new line number. It used to be, last year it was authorized as line number 321. And those are outside instructional services, and specifically those are the district field trips. We have grades 2 and 3 going to the nature center. Grade 1 all goes to the Mystic Aquarium. Grade 4 goes to Project O. That actually costs us nothing. That's part of maybe a grant. Grade 5 all goes to Mystic Seaport. And we also this year had to add, this was previous, I believe, either picked up by the transportation department or the schools, but this year we added an additional $10,000 to the district budget for transportation. So that is the reason for, or all of that together is the reason for the cost, which I believe here is over $30,000. So hopefully that clarifies the questions that everyone had, but I'm happy to answer additional questions regarding that if I can.
So you said last year it was in line 331?
321.
321. Okay, thank you. Any additional questions for Anne Marie?
No, thank you, that helped a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say one more thing when we're talking about like classroom aides that aren't necessarily directly related to special ed. In the budget 2 years ago, we cut a lot of those positions, and I can't remember the exact number, but it was between 10 and 20 that we cut like the night of the vote. So we used to have a lot more in the system, and so the numbers that we have are, they're much lower than the district used to.
All right, any other questions on page 8 and 9?
Okay, we're going to skip over to my next yellow section, which is page 46 and 47, which is preschool.
Oh, that's you, Karen. She's got to find it.
And, you know, of course, it's function 1205, pages 3 through 5 are our preschoolers. And we have special education certified teachers. I'm teaching our 3- and 4-year-olds currently at both Mystic River and Thames River. And then we have a number of regular and special ed teacher aides that go along with that program. And you can see that
Keep going,
the one
Caitlin.
in Mary Morrison happens to be a special education teacher in the ECAT program that takes all of our birth to 3 children and gets them into our schools and gets them services and does a planning and placement team. So a lot of work with both she and then the speech pathologists that are in that program. And I know Karen does spend some days over there and with our young children. She really has a focus on our early childhood and many other things in elementary and...
I think you're there, Caitlin.
Oh, yeah, I think it's up a couple, I think it's 46 on the bottom.
Slow down a little
There it
bit.
is.
There you go, Caitlin. Nope.
Oh, no.
Page 46 is the first page. Thank you.
Yeah, Susan said there is a speech pathologist also over there, but that she's in the speech budget that Denise and I'll go over.
Yeah.
But you can see that there are 4 currently at Mystic River and 3 at Thames River. And these are the ones that are special education preschool, or they have a portion, like 50% who have IEPs and 50% who don't, who are peers.
Right.
Do you want to address the parents?
On page 46, when you're looking at 111 and 131 for Mystic River Magnet School, we are, and for Thames River, we're reducing the amount of, here, the special aids. Are those reclassifications
Yes.
earlier? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the notes
In the
there.
changes, it says no reductions in preschool aides, it's paid by
IDEA.
IDEA.
Yeah.
I can put, I can put,
Can you unmic your,
I can put
can you
the,
unmute your mic?
Yes.
I could put the object codes on.
Yeah, if you could put the object codes, that would be helpful, just to point to it.
Yeah.
Because if someone didn't look at, if we didn't go from page 11 to this,
Sure.
Yeah,
we wouldn't know what we're talking about.
Yep.
agreed.
Mike?
I have a question about the numbers. I can wait if you want to the next, or should I do it now?
You can do it now.
So on 102, there's no change in terms of FTEs.
No.
But then if you go to the next page, there's a budget decrease of 139,000. And it's sort of related to that. There's a big change here of -6 in 111 and 131. And then the decrease there doesn't seem to be as big as losing 6 FTEs. I'm wondering if it's like misproportioned somehow within that.
So I can talk to your first part of your question. I guess there was a teacher that was in preschool for a while, and she was never moved. She actually moved, I think, a couple years ago to a kindergarten position, but that teacher was never moved off the preschool budget. So that's for your 102, the decrease of 139. She's just reclassified in a different section. So that's why that decrease is there.
So that's a good, but then wouldn't that show up in the FTEs on this table, or no?
Those are the FTEs that
For
are,
the actual.
yeah, those are the ones that are actually, so I guess it was, that was already
The
edited.
FTEs were updated a few years ago when she transferred to a different position.
It was just her salary.
Right.
The salary wasn't
Oh, so it's
Yeah.
salary all around.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that might not be her total salary, that, the amount, thinking of the contract,
Right.
steps, the movement for those particular teachers.
Right.
And we do have, I would say, a very experienced group. We have a couple
Oh, yeah.
newer teachers, but that preschool, they've been with us for quite a while, and they're very expert at that.
Yes, they absolutely are.
Yeah.
And so that went to, I missed it if you said which function, like, you don't need the code, but where did that go to, that salary's now?
It should be in the K through 5 teacher
Okay, got it.
Elementary, yeah.
Rita knows the numbers.
1101 is so large that, yeah, the person has been moved in this budget.
Correct.
It's outright.
And then the other part?
And then the paraeducators was
Yeah, it
there.
looks like the decrease is too small for losing, at least from this function, 6 FTEs.
They went to like,
It's like, it's like, what, 40,000, 50,000, say.
Yeah, I mean, I know the decrease is because they moved to the IDA, but I don't know if, Rita, you know why it might have been less.
Now I'll have to look at the dollars that were budgeted last year versus this year.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's enough. I don't know. No, it doesn't seem like it can't be, right?
Doesn't seem like
Yeah.
it can be right.
Yeah, it seems like it should be like
It seems like it should be.
240 or 250,000 or something.
Yeah, it seems.
Yeah, because you're minus 6, right?
Yeah.
The parents make like 20 grand. So, yeah, I think it's low.
Yeah.
Agree. I'll have to look at that.
You all set, Mike?
Yes, thank you.
Mitch?
Line item 1119 is 163% increase. Is unclassified 6 to 12. What is that? Why is it so high?
I'm sorry, Mitchell, what page are you on?
I'm on page 2 in the book.
Page 2?
What are we on? 47.
Am I in the right section?
47?
Yeah, we're on 47.
We're on 47.
I don't see 47 here.
We're on page
Yeah,
47.
Yeah, under the pink section. 47.
Well, I've withdrawn my question then.
But if you still have the question later on, let us know.
Yeah.
Don't forget it.
Any other questions? Ian, you have a question?
Well, actually, I just wanted to respond to Mitch's question real quick. I know that over the past couple of years, there's a move to shift, I think, to unclassified 6 to 12. That was a bunch of supplies, general supplies, removed there. So you have to carry them over in each individual department.
Oh, okay.
Then also the benefits and Social Security, Medicare, all that stuff. You'll see a lot of drops in this budget because we moved those to another function code as well.
Thank you, Ian.
Well,
Any other questions? Did you put all the substitute teachers together? Or you didn't need one under,
Substitute
Okay,
teacher, no, they're in one function.
Okay.
Or two functions, they're not separated.
next?
All right. So next we'll turn to page 52 and 53, which is, Caitlin, you're going to see function 1230, special education at the top in the blue. So you're looking for 1230.
Page 52.
Yes.
Okay, this is Denise's section, and we can see the number of teachers, special education teachers that we have supporting our elementary schools, and it's a total number of 27 that are in the operating budget. Now, I know Denise has talked to you about the SEED grant, so we've been able to add some staff through the SEED grant, speech path, and a couple teachers, special ed teachers. And does IDEA have any of our special ed teachers
No.
in it?
Nope, just
really
paras.
The paras,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
And any of these teachers listed, the 27 in the seed grant? Or is it-
No, you won't see the teachers in the seed grant here.
But
They are,
the -1.
The -1 is.
yeah, there
The
is,
-1 at Mystic River is being offset by a grant.
right,
Okay, so
right.
they're not losing anyone.
No.
Just-
No, no.
No, I
No.
wrote that because I knew that would be the question.
So Mystic River and Thames River will each gain, instead of a .5 special ed teacher, they'll each have a 1.0. So one of the 1.0s will be through the seed grant, and the other is through the board's budget. That teacher will be full-time at Thames River. So that will increase their special ed staff for their resource program to meet the needs of the students.
And because of the programs that they have and the number of students that they have, they really do have the largest caseloads of
Right.
special education students in our district.
Right.
And so it's
The Thames River?
Thames River and Mystic River, yeah.
Yep. And then just to note, down by Fitch High School, you'll see 15 FTEs. It should be 14. We have not increased from last year. That was an error with the teacher in residence.
It was misplaced.
It was counted there incorrectly. So Fitch High School has 14
That'll be
FTEs,
an adjustment.
not 15. So we'll adjust that.
When it becomes the board's budget.
Right.
All these corrections will be made for you.
Right. So the FTEs for special education is actually 54, not 55. And that's not a decrease from last year. It's the same FTEs as last year.
Well,
So
they're- yeah.
those numbers for last year have to be adjusted.
The only difference is the
So they should
-1,
all be
which is-
54.
They should all be 54, yes. Yep, and then the paras that you see on the second part of the chart are all working with students with disabilities, either one-to-one or shared, which we call enhanced. And you can see there's an increase of 12.2. Those are just reclassified from general education, from the elementary budget that we just looked at.
Well,
So-
and I would say that because of the movement of our kids moving in and out of district, Lori and Denise do a really
Mm-hmm.
terrific job sitting with me almost quarterly and sitting with the principals. at
And the
least twice a
principals
year.
really,
And our
yeah.
principals
Yep. Mm-hmm.
really do keep us abreast of the new kids coming in and out and their needs so that we can respond to them right away.
Yep, they update their rosters, they, we look at efficiencies we can create when students move, and where we can shift those paras in terms of their needs in the building. They're very, very hands-on in terms of making sure that they're meeting the needs of their students, and working with us if we need to move a position. If a student leaves one school, we have an extra staff member. Sometimes we'll shift that position to a different school if a student moves in. So it's a very fluid arrangement, but it works well because we communicate well.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I see the increase of 12.2. We had a reduction of 7.2 in 1101. So where did the other 5 come from? Did I miss that? Or is that like an increase?
I think there was some in preschool. Preschool, we moved to IDEA. We moved 6.
At preschool?
We moved 6 to IDEA.
Oh, okay.
And then, let's see.
It does say at the bottom that IDEA grant supplements
Yeah.
the cost of paraprofessionals to this operation budget.
Yeah.
In both of those, I just have to add the object codes that I'm talking about.
Can I just say,
You think?
Jen had a comment earlier about making like a cheat sheet document. I think laying all that, again, just reiterating, laying all that out will make things a lot easier, knowing how many move to IEDA, how many move within the codes. Just having that as something to read for everyone ahead of time, I think will save everyone time, energy, and effort.
And then like a little change narrative here. That's only one sentence here, but
Yeah.
kind of neat.
Yeah.
And then there would be others that might not change, but we just have increased the number of special ed children we have been increasing.
Yeah.
every year.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the reclassification and
Right.
the changing and
Right.
how
Right.
it's funded that gets confusing.
Right.
And is hard to track from.
Right. And you'll see down below on page 53, under 111, teacher aides, there's a large decrease, and those salaries were moved to IDEA, the $222,775.
What object code are you looking at under 132?
111.
So those salaries were moved to ID.
Moved to IDEA, yes. And then the rest of the salaries for Social Security, Medicare are moved to the central location.
Yeah. How many teachers in residence do we have for 94,000? Is that two?
Where do you see the teacher in residence in here?
151.
I think we have 2 in special education,
Okay.
but we can get that number from Lori.
Lori was en route, but she said she would hop on as soon as she can, so she can answer some of the questions.
Yeah, Lori Lapine. She's on.
Yeah, she is on.
Lori's on.
Lori, can you answer the question about the teacher in residence?
Yes, we have 2 in district.
Okay, that was the answer. We were on.
Thank you, Lori.
Do you know where they are?
I think at the high school.
Yes, one at the high school, one at the middle school.
Thank you, Lori.
Both in special education, right? Or-
Yes.
One special education, one is math.
Oh, that's right. The one in middle school is math. I've met him.
Yeah, remember, I told you moved that.
Okay.
Mitch?
What's a teacher in residence?
It's kind of like what we used to call interns that would come to us through the university.
Okay.
So that they're doing their coursework, but then they're getting that real-life experience, apprenticeship with teachers and, paraeducators in the classroom.
Okay.
Yep.
I had another question, too. What percentage of all the paras are funded by this IDEA grant?
Well, I think out of about 208, we fund about 51
We fund.
through IDEA.
The grant fund.
Through IDEA.
Yeah, it's on another page on this. Yeah, but I'll do the grant summaries.
So is that a grant that comes, it's just a pool of money and you can put it in wherever you want within certain ranges?
Well, it's an entitlement grant, so based on the number of students with disabilities that we have in the district, we receive the grant annually, and you can use the grant over a 2-school-year period. So the second year, we call our carryover funds, and you can allocate the grant to assist with to supplement the board's budget for educating students with disabilities.
Okay.
So we use it for a big chunk of it for paras. We also use it to contract with Learn for a behavior analyst. And then we pay for some of our software out of the grant.
Okay, thank you.
And some like adaptive equipment like standers and walkers for, real specialized equipment for students.
And these are all things within the IDEA grant proposals that are,
Yeah.
welcome.
Yep, you have to write a narrative and submit it and get it approved, write a budget.
Okay,
But it's pretty broad in terms of how you want to use it.
thank you.
Yeah.
We also have to report, it's called the MOE before we get this IDEA grant. It's a very detailed report regarding our special ed numbers. So before we get the entitlement of the IDEA, we have to submit this maintenance of effort to the state of Connecticut that shows we're providing services, but they are too, if that makes sense.
Right.
But it's
So you're not supplanting.
Right.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
Sure.
Adrian and Jen.
Yeah, so when the principals were here in the fall, a couple of the elementary principals said that they really appreciated the tutors that we added to the budget, and that was beneficial. But they also said that they really needed some certified staff to help in support services. So I'm guessing that means like Tier 2 intervention, maybe Tier 3. But did we add any staff?
We added through special education, through the SEED grant, we added 2.6 FTEs, but the intervention services are a different budget.
So we have remedial services, which are one.
You wouldn't see that here.
Yeah.
You wouldn't see that in 1230.
All right, and we wouldn't see that in 1101 either?
No.
All right.
Where would the tutors be? Where are the tutors for? I know that a lot of times they're through the Title I
I think they're in the
grant.
1220.
1220.
Elementary, right? All the tutors are in the 1220. I believe.
Yeah, 125.
Right before it.
Page
before
50 and 51.
Yeah, so there's only one FTE for certified staff there, and it's not a change for the elementaries.
Oh, I thought we were talking about tutors.
Yeah, you were talking about tutors.
No, I had said that I think the principals said they appreciated the tutors, but they really needed certified staff for the Tier 2, is what I remember hearing from the principals when they were here. Not all principals, a couple of them. So I'm just asking if we added anything for certified staff for support.
Not in my budget.
We
No, that's a
haven't added.
separate
What I
one.
did ask was them to prioritize what they were asking for. So, I think a couple of them might have added. I think Mr. Wheeler had added, he has a .6 reading interventionist that he'd like to see made whole. So he had requested that. I think what I'd rather do is get you a chart of those requests, because that would be in addition to this budget, and for you to take a look at that. And if they are on now, so if they wanted to, if this is the right time for them to really speak up, if there's any of my principals out there who are really contemplating, like the example I gave at Mystic River from Steve Wheeler, for certified staff or certified staff increases, or tutors, or additional. We talked about additional people, and then also additional resources. So if anybody wanted to speak up for that, just raise your hand.
Yeah, just raise your hand.
Oh, there's Steve. Is that?
Yeah, it's Stephen.
Oh, that's Chris. Is that you, Chris?
There's Stephen up there, and he just came on video.
Chris had a hand.
And, yeah, and Catherine Karnowski had their hand up.
Yeah, and that must be
Steve's
Chris.
got his hand up too.
Okay. Chris, did you have your hand up first? I think you did.
I have no idea if I have mine up first, but anyway. Yes, when I came to the board earlier this year, I was one of the principals that mentioned adding a certified staff member. And talking specifically about in the area of mathematics, we have certified reading interventionists that help our students who are struggling to make adequate progress in reading. But in math, we just have our one math specialist, and we have tutors, which are wonderful. However, I really think that we need a certified teacher to work as a math interventionist. One of the challenges we have when we have a tutor in the area of math is that the math specialist has to spend a lot of time training the tutors, because they're not most are not certified teachers and really don't understand teaching a lot of the math concepts to elementary students. And really, in order to make progress in math, I think that we need a certified math interventionist.
Any questions for Heidi?
So can I just follow that up with, would it be reasonable for me to request that we just ask the elementary principals if because we know we're trying to, improve things in the elementaries, like this request, is it, I mean, obviously, it's not in the budget, so it'd be something we would talk about later, but would it be reasonable to request that you just ask that of the principals?
Yeah, they've already sent it to me, and Erica actually has a Google
already have
Doc.
that.
So we've got that. We can add it to the frequently asked questions and then look at it more closely. But I just thought you might want to hear from the principals that since they're here
Well,
tonight.
I definitely want to hear from the principals. So,
Yeah.
so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You want to add anything else, Chris?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Steve?
Hi, everyone. How are you tonight?
Good. How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing well, thank you. I did ask for that point. We have a .6 reading interventionist that's at our building, and she's been Wilson trained, and she does certainly work with students with a certain profile. However, we are, like everyone else that's here, all my colleagues, we are looking to close the gap, and we are looking to reach as many kids as we can. So having her full-time would be able to get more kids on her caseload, really give us an opportunity to flesh out where the needs are. That's something I've been asking Susan for. She knows about that. I've kind of explained it to her. It makes a lot of sense. We are desperately trying to find ways to catch kids up, or at least catch them so that we are not identifying them with special ed. I mean, we will always do that if we need to, but we are just being very cognizant of that intervention that we're providing, and is it enough so that we can reach as many kids as we can. That is the ask for the .6. I too, like Chris, have asked Susan for a few more tutors as well. In my presentation, I know I had shared that I was using basically a per diem sub to help me with what I call the level 2 students that are fairly close to becoming proficient. And we really, yes, they're getting tier 1 instruction. The classroom teachers are providing a small group. But I really wanted to, intensify that with having them be seen by somebody who can also, provide very skill-based needs. And I know when I presented, that was something that we had achieved with that small group that we were able to pull with a per diem sub. So to Chris's point, that's how I would see and utilize my math tutor, and if possible, getting a ELA tutor in as well.
Well, and we saw great results for your EL students by focusing some of that reading intervention, so they had EL support and they had reading support.
Yeah, they had a true double dip.
Yeah, thank you.
Jamie, Stephanie, you want to say anything?
I'm here.
Hi, Stephanie.
Yeah. Hi, how is everybody?
Good.
So I'm in the same boat, I would say, as my colleagues as well. I would like to see an additional math specialist in the building. I think the tutors that we have are absolutely amazing, but I think just having that certified teacher to kind of help us with some of our students going through the MTSS process, so that we are not moving them to special education, that we can catch and close the gap sooner. And then I was also thinking about, we have a part-time .5 social worker, but we're definitely seeing the increase with some of the social emotional needs of our students, and being able to have a full-time social worker would be amazing as well.
If I can go next, I would love to. I also concur with having a math interventionist. We have literacy interventionists and a literacy specialist. The interventionists really are able to get in the classrooms and either push in or take those small groups, and having that specialized math interventionist would be great. Our math tutors are amazing, but as Chris said, really being able to provide that specialized instruction with math is wonderful, because they would have all of that PD training as well. One thing that I actually have on my priority list is a special ed teacher. Denise did say, and Susan said, that we are getting an additional, our .5 is turning into a 1 full-time, but I believe it's through a grant, and the grant ends next year, so it would only be a 1-year position unless that then gets extended, which would be phenomenal. So that is something that would be a priority for things for sure. And I think for Mystic as well, because we are in that same grant. Can't speak for Steve, but I think I can say this. Thanks for listening.
But that would be for the 27-28 school year, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yep. Yeah. So next year I'll have to hire 1 year because my current teacher will be leaving after this year. So I'll hire for next year, but it is a 1 year if I'm correct with that grant.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you. Ryan?
If I could just take a moment to piggyback on what Stephanie said earlier, we've been sharing that social worker position with Barnum for the past couple of years. It's a full-time position, but she works 2.5 days in my building and then another 2.5 days per week in Stephanie's building. And to echo what she said, the needs are still there. It makes scheduling difficult. We certainly could meet the needs of more kids and more families if she was full-time in our building. We do run into some jams in terms of scheduling when we need to have her attend, a 504 or PPT for an NEA student, but she's at Charles Barnum, and what that does is it ends up sometimes taking away from service time for kids. It doesn't happen often, but certainly the luxury of having someone in-house 5 days a week would be a benefit to the school.
Thank you, Ryan. Jen?
So, I know last year we asked for one social worker for Ryan's team, and that did get split. So, I don't know, because they were always stating, the prior principal was always stating at the other school that there was a social worker, but I think they were going above and beyond their supposed normal duty. So I would like to have that revisited. And to the principals, do they need to be, I've heard a lot of math tutoring, do they need to be FTEs? Or we had that high-dose tutoring consultants come in, and I felt like they were really effective. So maybe that's a different way that we can sort of supplement the budget and get the same need, and then we'll focus on it again next year. So I don't recall the name of the consultants, but they were here. They got good reviews. And so I just wanted to see if that would be an option. We could do an analysis to see what's more cost effective, the consultants or the tutors, and then let's see how we can move forward. Because one's temporary, right? And then if we do it the tutor way, it might be a little bit more permanent than the consultant. So if you guys can look at that.
The consultant was definitely almost double the price.
It was? Okay.
So we do know that already.
Okay.
It was very effective, and we could only use that company through the grant because it was done by the state of Connecticut, so that's why we did it that way, and it was very effective.
Okay, so if we know that, then erase. Let's cost this out to see how much we can afford, if any.
Any questions for the principals?
Thank you all. I appreciate you being there.
Thank you for your input, Amy and Ryan and Steve and Stephanie and Chris, of course. Chris. I don't think did I miss somebody?
No, I think
No, you got them.
You got everybody.
You said 5. You said 5.
Okay, any other questions on page 50 and 51? Or did I lose the page?
52 and 53. No.
And then we move to 52 and 53, that's continuing on. Special education, have we?
Oh, that's what we were doing. That's what we were doing.
Can we go back to page 51 with the tutors?
Well, I had just brought that up because we brought up tutors.
Yeah, but that's are we decreasing the number of tutors?
No, those are being reclassified. Those are the EL tutors. Yep.
In the notes, it
To DODIA.
added tutors
Yep.
to DODIA.
Yep.
And the community coordinated to Title II?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put
And
the,
how long
I'll put
is
the objects.
How long is the Title II grant?
That's every year.
Always?
Always.
So this community coordinator will always be in the Title II?
The part-time, I think they're stipends.
Yeah, they are.
It's not, they're not full-time.
So there's certain hours.
Yeah, certain
Say, like
hours.
10 to 15 hours, and then they cover sometimes for the secretary.
Mm-hmm.
The secretary's out, but they're definitely wonderful people who help with the mentors
Mm-hmm.
coming in and family engagement.
Right.
So, we've had them for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
since
Yeah, I
I've
don't know why they're in here, because they've always been entitled to, I thought.
How many do we have?
I think each school has their own,
Each school
don't
has
they?
their own, but they're not considered full-time, because they only do so many hours a day.
I think because we had, it looks like we had an extra person who was district-wide, but it's not proposed for next year. We must have had it in the budget this year. We'd have to find out who that is. Maybe you and Lori can figure that out. Or maybe that one's being covered by Title II now. There's actually one per school.
Right. There's one per school, but they're not 1.0 FTE. I had to reduce the FTEs because they're not, it shouldn't be considered a 1.0.
Okay.
Oh, that's true. That's probably all of them put together.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to explain. It's like the decrease is because they're not 1.0 and because they're entitled to.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions for page 1551? Go ahead, Jen.
I just noticed that, like, we're having a lot of, like, questions regarding the notes and stuff. How hard, you could say no, right, and say, like, hey, Jen, we'll do this next year. How hard would it be to put, like, where we have the notes, like 1, 2, 3, and then equate it to 1, 2, 3 up there, so then, like, we can match the notes?
I'm not sure what you're saying.
So,
Like a little
you know,
footnote. I think she's talking like a footnote.
Well, I'm going to add the objects.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was saying to Sean earlier, is that the objects should be down there.
Yeah.
I agree.
I wasn't sure, you know how like, we normally put like, when we're trying to explain something, like 1.
I know what you're saying, like a
Yeah.
footnote.
Yeah, like a footnote.
That would be hard.
That would be hard. Okay, well, next year.
I'm just,
But you can add the object. That would make
Maybe
sense.
I should add the
object should-
objects.
The
Yes,
object should be
I
fine.
agree.
Yep, okay.
But putting little footnotes up here would be hard, because
Okay.
it's an Excel document, and Excel documents aren't the best, but, sorry.
I realize this is way too much for this year, but for me, what would be really helpful is to know on the individual sheets how many FTEs are in a grant, and that way we can see all of the changes. So like, when we're talking about FY '25, '26, we go adopted, actual, and then grant funded, a column for grant funded, and then the same thing in '27. That way you can, because as the grant funding comes and goes, we still need those positions for the most part. It's great when we have grants, but we still need to run a district effectively. So that, I think this has come up in the past or things similar.
I think doing the FTEs that way probably is feasible. It's the dollars that
Yeah.
would be difficult. But
Yeah, it would
I
just
agree with
be
you.
An FTE number.
I agree with you.
That way
And
we can say, all right, well, we've got 10 people in school, 4 of them are by grant.
Yeah, yeah.
Last year, we had 6 of them by grant, but we still need 10.
Yeah. And I'm hoping with the new budget module, it'll be easy. Because
And moving
I can't,
is starting next year.
I couldn't use it this year because it was too late. We're still implementing it, so
Will you be able to do what Adrian's requested?
I'm hoping,
Okay,
yeah, with the
perfect.
new budget module, that this won't be manual.
Not this year, next year.
Yeah,
FY '28.
I told her she could tell me no.
There's still like 20 days until we have to approve this.
That's all, just sleep here, Rita.
She can
Any other
sleep and everything, then we can
Oh,
get
somebody's, Jason keeps asking where my couch is, like, why I haven't bought a couch for here. You need one.
You should have told him there was a house for sale over there. Before you start.
Just had one big project after another when we came here. Okay, we keep going back and forth to this page. This is now, we're on 52 and 53. Is there anything else we need? I know we talked a lot about the FTE, and we know about the reclassification of benefits. And is there anything else that you need to talk about here, Denise, underneath where?
Just want to point out 561, that's one of our out-of-district tuition accounts for vocational skills. That does fund students at the Ledyard VOAG program who have IEPs, as well as students who require additional support
like sharp training
with employment. Right. So we're required to provide what's called transition planning to students with disabilities who might not be ready to enter the competitive workforce or go on to a 2 or 4 year or a trade program. And we work with a company in the area that has contracts at different sites like Conn College, and they provide a group-supported employment for students. So that's what account 561 is primarily for.
And I know it's kind of a lot, but the travel for the special ed transportation, is that the sharp training bands?
581? No, that would be travel for any of the teachers. We do have some itinerant, teachers who travel for PPTs or professional development, and they can submit for reimbursement for mileage.
Did you have a question?
I guess I do. Back to the mileage again. Is that between schools to go?
If it's in their job description, yes, if they're itinerant. So we do have a teacher right now who's split between 2 buildings. So she does sometimes have to travel back and forth for PPTs. And then the next line, 584, is travel specifically for workshops and conferences. And that's for all of the 54 teachers.
They're mostly in-state, but they, but they might
Right.
be in Hartford or.
Okay, so that was negotiated into their contract then, right?
Yes, they get the IRS mileage reimbursement rate. And we have a chart, so we have to use the mileage that's approved by the business office. It's not arbitrary.
I didn't think it was. I work for a company that does the same thing. They don't reimburse you for traveling from New London to North Stonington. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions on these 2 pages?
All right, is it okay if Karen leaves at this point, since we covered her 2 major budget areas?
Stay a little longer.
I'll be back, don't worry. We got a whole other thing to approve, guys.
So I'm just going
Thank
to
you.
cover more about enrichment,
Karen.
which is the next page, which is
See you tomorrow.
54 and 55. So I think that's it.
But we're the teachers. Are there teachers for this program?
So the way we do it, it's the after-school program, and it's really K through 8. It started as a K through 5 initiative, probably back when I first got here 12 years ago, to really have some after-school activities, especially in elementary, and now it's reached the middle school too. So what happens is they have activities that could be like intramural sports or they could be art, or they could be STEM kinds of projects. They know that CK has a robotics team that they do, and other schools have certain things. So the teachers, it's per their contract or per their rate, and we basically pay them for 1 hour a week for 8-week sessions, and we do it like 3 times a year. And it says STEM, arts, fitness, enrichment. And it's always been about the same cost to us. I think at one time it was $40,000, but it's about, I think, what do we have projected for next year? $38,460, it looks like. So it's a little bit of an increase.
And that includes the pay for the teachers?
Yeah, they actually get coded to 127, not 102, because it's after school.
Okay.
Okay.
They sometimes disguise tutoring, like as math club, and do like math enrichment, but it's also...
But they're paid under
paid,
that
but
code.
They're paid under
Yeah.
here, right.
Yeah. So it is teachers, but it's like deceiving because it's into 127, not certified teachers. Certified teachers are for the day, during the day.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. So there are teachers, but
Yes, they are teachers.
volunteered, to be part of this program and get their little stipend for it. And then the following is 1270, which is remedial instruction, which Adrian had just brought up.
Wait, any questions on 120?
Oh, sorry. So with remedial instruction, these are our interventionist specialists, the principals were just talking about. And you can see the number of actual certified teachers that are specialists. And like they said, at Charles Barnum, there's 3 interventionists that are literacy and 1 that's math. And in almost all cases, that's the case. Mystic River and Thames River happens to have 2 maths, and the rest are literacy. But they have a much larger school.
Is it possible, Rita, to give us an idea of how much it would cost us if you did what the principals asked? Like, Catherine Kanaski wants a math.
Yeah, we could absolutely.
Just give us an idea of the cost of that.
With the teacher, yeah, I'm going to write that down.
The principals asked.
Is this last year? I'm sorry, Mr.
I didn't raise my hand, I'm thinking.
Are you talking about one
okay.
math interventionist at each school, or are you talking about?
The list that I have here that
You have the
people
list.
just spoke, yeah,
Yeah,
I got the
yeah,
list.
I wrote it down too. I wrote their asks, yeah. I'm just going to add that interventionists, math interventionists are very hard to get. We could put them in the budget, but
They're
filling
usually-
them, it's going to be very difficult because
It's
you're
not
talking-
like a new teacher. It's usually
No.
a teacher who's had a lot of
and
training.
they're going to cost a lot of money.
Right.
Because the teachers, they're going to come in at a higher step than a first-year teacher. So
The
I would
literacy-
estimate it.
The literacy, they require to have an extra certification as an interventionist or as a consultant. They call them literacy consultants. Math, I worked at Sacred Heart for a couple years and tried to get a whole cohort, 2 cohorts go through for math intervention, but the state has not made a certification for math the way they did for literacy. So what you find is people who have worked in math and have gotten more education or a master's degree and are now in the classroom coaching teachers and also, helping our students and sometimes training our tutors. So,
So what we really need is to tap into some of those engineers retiring from ED.
Yeah.
And take a couple of classes.
And have them take it.
that's what we really
And teach that for us.
Sounds good to me.
yeah.
I think, is this the section where last year we wanted 5, and we put it in the budget, and then it got cut? Like, we wanted to hire, 5 support remedial type of teachers.
Thought we did.
I can speak to this because this is something so what we're talking about tonight is the same thing I brought up last year, and I kind of wanted that, and we ended up adding, I think, enough money for 4 tutors or 5 tutors.
Because it became
One per
general,
school.
remember? It became like a general, instead of, we had it as a specific type of position, and then it became like a general.
Yeah, well then it kind of ended up being like let the principals choose
Okay.
We gave them enough money for a tutor or a half an FTE basically, or something like that.
The math grant we wrote was for tutors in math. So because of what's happening in Washington, that was postponed.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What was your
Yeah.
question, dear?
No, I just wanted to see if like it was added because it doesn't look like whatever we had
Yeah,
approved.
it didn't
It
happen
didn't-
for the certified.
Okay.
Yeah, it just ended up being put into the tutors.
Yeah, because it goes back to like what I was thinking last year, that if we do it right the first time, so like right now, we're spending money on remedial, right? But if we do it right the first time and we start investing in teachers, certified teachers, not remedial, that in time, the two costs will reverse and we're not spending money on rework, like reteaching because the kids have already learned it right the first time. There will always be something here, right? But just not to the degree that it is now, if we can, like, get them the first time around. So maybe that's like an aspirational goal in time, and we can slowly move there.
We are fortunate to get retired teachers who will come back and tutor in mathematics. Like, we've had a couple math specialists who've retired and come back as math tutors, and that's a win-win for us. But you're right. The core instruction is very important. I think we are investing in improving core instruction in ELA and math K-8 for next year, so that's important. You're right.
Any other questions? Mike, you have anything? Sean?
No.
Mitch?
I see the term intervention levels and people who need intervention, and I'm trying to figure out what exactly does that mean?
Denise, can you answer that? What exactly
sure.
does intervention mean?
Sure. So it's a type of remedial support. So when you think of the tiers, as tier 1 is general education, tier 2 students need supplemental instruction to bridge that gap, and then tier 3 is typically special education. So it's an intervention prior to finding a student eligible for special education.
So do those students have IEPs?
No.
Not in the level 1 or 2.
No.
I mean, one,
Most of them do not. You could have an IEP and see an interventionist, but for the most part, they don't.
Okay.
And is one, are all of them pull out of the classroom, or some of them in the classroom?
That's a good question for the principals. I think they're mostly pull out, but maybe I don't know if they're still here.
No, they
No,
did.
they're not. I think, I don't know for Karen. I think it's mostly pull out. The coaches are in, but I think the interventionists do more small group pull out, where it's quiet.
Well, they have a waiting period too, a specialized period, where
So they might go in.
everybody's getting something, what you need,
Does that answer your question, Mitch?
It answers the question, but it brought forth another question. I mean, would extra help at the end of the day by, say, a math or an ELA teacher or whatever they need, cover the level 2 you just talked about?
Yes.
Will we do, I'm trying to think, for
Yes.
elementary, I don't think
Yep.
you see as much after-school tutoring, although, like I said, sometimes they'll do a math club and they'll ask kids to come.
Oh, by the end of the day, did you mean after school?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Middle school, we do see that.
Well, they get posted. Those after-school enrichment positions are posted, and anybody can apply, right? So I think it's a combination.
Mitch, or are you talking about the students going to help after school?
Yes.
Are you talking about the after-school enrichment club, the budget that we have for after-school enrichment? That's what I thought you were referring to.
I think so. I'm not sure.
Trying to figure it out. Stay after school and get help.
That's the question. That's it, right there. Thank you.
The teachers stay for 15 minutes, a minimum of 15 minutes after the school day ends to support students, and many teachers stay far beyond that.
Okay. That's good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And sometimes it's math club. but it's really tutoring.
Right.
Math club is a great thing.
It is a good thing, yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, moving on.
Okay, and the next page is the hearing impaired, and that's me. We have one teacher.
Yep, so we have one teacher that's district-wide.
8 and 9.
Yep, she travels throughout the district, and she works with students who are hearing impaired. Many of them have amplification equipment, which helps them, hear the instruction more directly into their ear or their hearing aids. So a big part of her job is troubleshooting the equipment, training staff to use the equipment. It's all Bluetooth enabled, which is really convenient. But she also will pre-teach a lesson. Teachers of the deaf really primarily focus on vocabulary and helping students with hearing impairments pre-learn vocabulary so that they can participate in that lesson and get the most out of it. Because when you have difficulty hearing, you lose out a lot on some of the, more complex vocabulary words because you're really just focusing on some of the basics. So she's very experienced. She's also very fluent in American Sign Language. So she's a real asset in the district.
And we actually have a ASL teacher at the high school. Unfortunately, her husband got orders and they're moving out of district, so we're posting and feverishly trying to, find someone.
Fill
It's
her,
not an
yeah.
easy position to fill, but we are working
Right.
around the clock to try to find it, that person.
Right. She's in the world language budget because ASL is considered a world language.
There was a leftover comment in here, though, that I see that says teaching services also include instruction in American Sign Language. So I think before I think there was a part where they were doing part-time ASL. And
Yeah, it really depends on the caseload. So when one of the teachers when the teacher that teaches mostly students with IEPs has a smaller caseload, she'll assist with the ASL classes. But this year, she's really just focused on the students with hearing impairments because they're spread out throughout the district, and she really works with them, individually on auditory skills, vocabulary, and really supporting them in the curriculum. So right now, she's not supporting ASL, but she has in the past.
Yeah.
that's just going to confuse people.
Is this one that's fully reimbursed by the state, or is that the blind?
That's the teacher of the blind, and you'll see we took those 2 pages out of the budget this year
Okay.
because the state provides a teacher to our district.
Okay.
So that's not in the board. The board doesn't fund that at all. The state does.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yep.
Mitch?
With the item 102 on page 58, does that correspond with item 102 on page 59 for salaries and wages? What's the
Yes.
Yes.
And what's the difference between, why do we have it as salaries and wages? Isn't that the same?
It's always been like that, so
Oh,
I left
okay,
it
so
out.
that-
To be honest,
all right.
that's the way it comes out in the finance. So it's just always been labeled that way. I agree with you. Salaries is the same thing as wages to me, but maybe
But with most
salary
units, do they
people-
call
because
it
maybe
one or the other?
salaries, and hourly wages.
Yeah,
It should say hourly wages.
Yeah, hourly
Yeah.
wages, that's what I was
To
thinking.
me, but yeah,
But we don't pay our teachers that way.
Yeah, but other people,
Yeah.
right.
right.
Okay, so that amount here is for that one person
Mm-hmm.
in FY '27, and that's the
She's a-
person who's leaving.
She is a veteran teacher.
No, she's
Person
staying.
is staying.
Oh,
Yeah, she's staying.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's the
the high school,
ASL teacher.
the high school one.
But
Okay.
she's under world language because
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
teaching a different language.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we're hoping to refill the position, so we haven't taken it off.
Yes. So if you know anyone who's fluent in ASL, please send that person our way.
They have to be a certified
They
teacher.
do.
Yeah.
But there's a durational area shortage permit that Lori can help us obtain if we need to.
Mike, you have a question? No? John, you all set?
All set.
Adrian? Okay.
So if we skip over, since we're rocking and rolling here, to pages 74 and 75, this is the pupil personnel department, which Denise Doolittle is the director. And that's 2101.
7475, function code 2101.
So here's where you see the director, my position, the 3 supervisors. Karen is one that you just met, or you just saw tonight. And then you see our behavior analyst down below under clerical other. And then our 3 administrative staff. We have 3 administrative assistants that work in the office. So staffing is the same as last year. There's no changes being recommended.
And the supervisors really do have areas of expertise.
Mhm.
You met Karen, who really is just so talented with the preschool, pre-K, and into elementary. I think she does
Yeah.
out of district. They all do some out of
Yeah.
district because we have a lot of kids out of district that need support with
Yeah.
their PPTs.
Yep. Amy really specializes in secondary alternative ed, and Katie really specializes in working with students with more social, emotional, behavioral challenges, elementary and middle school.
And then Denise does everything else.
Adrian and then Mike.
Yeah, the BCBA's, is that one we have in the whole district?
No, we have 3. We have 1 that's paid for through the board's budget, and 2 we contract with Learn to provide.
All right, thank you.
Those are in the IDEA grant. Well, 1 is.
You all set, Adrian?
Yeah.
Mike?
On page 75, there's an entry for 114 clerical administration. There's nothing budgeted in there for this year's, but last year's budget, there's 55,000. I was just wondering about that.
And I can't answer that because the year before there was nothing. I'm not sure what that position was. I'd have to research it more. But
Was Denise on?
it was 0
I don't think
before.
you've had any additional
No,
people than
I don't know.
the
No.
ones that you have.
Yeah, no,
You
I
have
don't
had
know.
the 3, right? Full
Yeah,
time.
yep,
As long as I can remember.
yep.
Thanks.
So
It's a
I don't know,
savings.
that's one of those anomalies from last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the FTEs didn't change.
Right.
so
No.
Obviously, I had to keep the number in from FY '26, but we haven't spent anything this year.
Right,
And we didn't spend anything in FY '25. So
right.
I have a feeling it was in the wrong function, to be honest. The dollars were in the wrong function.
So is that an extra $55,000 in that budget?
In this year's budget, yes.
That could be transferred
Yeah.
to use?
Yeah, you can
for
see-
Transportation?
Yeah,
You
we
can
we haven't spent any money this
Well, and you can
this
see
year.
the overall budget for next year, there's a decrease of almost 41,000, so.
It's because of that
Yeah,
55.
because of
I
that.
think it was
Yeah.
in the wrong function, to be honest, and I haven't figured out what function it should have been in.
Too many hoops to run through.
Mm-hmm.
That had their hands on this.
I did notice that, but I couldn't make a note because there was no change in the FTE.
Right, I understand that, thank you.
And refresh, go ahead, Mitch.
Are all these positions, is 105, 107, 112, are all those negotiated via contract?
Just 105 and 107.
105 and 107.
105 and 107
Yep.
those people are unioned?
But Mitch, we tend to, whatever the union has done, like our clerical, we try to keep up the pace with so if they've gotten a 2% raise, that's what we usually put in for our clerical staff here as well.
Okay.
So just trying to keep in sync with what the unions have done, and it's not usually
Right.
something that's extraordinary.
Right.
Try to keep with that.
Okay.
So there's some funds for travel, there's some funds for supplies, and dues for our, because we have a professional organization.
And then there's professional services.
That's zero. Oh, let's see. Professional technical, the 31,000.
Is that for relay?
So you didn't ask for any
No, I
more
have that in the
money
grant.
What do you have for
next year?
No.
Well, you spending 20, you
1%.
spent 20,000.
That's a decrease.
Is that Dr. Seacand?
Any
It
other
could be.
questions?
Yeah. I think other professional services is our medical advisor.
Oh, yeah, it can be.
Yeah.
But other professional services says zero.
The increase is zero,
Yeah, the increase is there.
but there's 31,000.
It's 31.
No, I
Same as
think
last
that
year.
says professional services, right? I mean, that's what.
Professional services,
I'm sorry, professional.
I said another. and it's
Oh,
zero.
sorry, yeah, we meant
I'm just
professional.
Listening to the language and not the number.
Any other questions on this page? Okay.
Let's see, then turning the page to 76 and 77. Social work services, Denise?
Sure. So this is a little tricky because we have 12 social workers altogether in the district. 6 are funded through the board's budget, and 6 are funded through grants. So you can see in terms of the board's budget, we have 1.5 at Charles Barnum. So the 0.5 represents the position that Mrs. Sawyer wants to increase to full-time. The 1.0 is in our academy classroom. That's a classroom for students with social, emotional, and behavioral challenges. The 0.5 at Mystic River, at Northeast Academy, is the 0.5 that Mr. Cheney wanted to increase to full-time. And then there is actually a 1.0 at Mystic River, but 0.5 is in the board's budget and 0.5 is in grants. And then there's 2.5 at Thames River. 2, again, are in the academy. And then there's a 0.5 in the board's budget and a 0.5 in grants. So that's a total of 5. And then Groton Middle School, you can see, has 0, but we actually have 2 social workers at Groton Middle that are paid for out of grants. We also have 2 at Fitch High School. 1 is in the board's budget and 1 is in the grant.
And CK also has.
And CK also has 1 that's in grants. And the grants are varied. Some are Title I, some are Stronger Connections, some are paid for out of Title IV. It's mainly Stronger Connections, Title I, and Title IV. But the majority of the social workers paid for out of grants are paid for out of Title I.
And is the Title I grant an every year grant, or does it run out?
Yes, that's an entitlement one, too, every
Actually,
year.
we got more
We
this
apply.
year than we did last year.
So we're pretty certain we're going to get this
Yeah.
Title I grant.
Yes. Yeah, based on the number of free, students that qualify for free and reduced lunch. And that's been increasing, too, so that grant's
How
been
many
increasing.
social workers out of that grant?
Title has 4.5 out of Title I. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3.
Title I is 4.
4 point.
CK, Mystic River, and Thames River.
Yep, 4.5 out of Title I and 1.0 out of Title IV.
And then you also notice that we have a military family liaison program where we have social workers at GMS, CB, and Thames River Magnet, and they're paid for through the Department of Defense. And they can work with military children, they can work with groups with military and friends. But they have to get special permission from parents. But it's another free resource. It's paid for by the Department of Defense. And it's to help children who are highly mobile and transitioning and whose parents are deployed and then come home. So it's a nice extra that Groton receives. to help us out.
What's a Title IV grant, Denise?
I think that's enrichment, isn't it?
Richmond.
Yeah.
And again, that's
But it's
every
every
year?
Yeah, yep,
Is it based on free and reduced lunch or?
I believe so.
I think the titles,
All the titles are.
coming every year.
Okay. Mike?
You have two questions. One is on the notes and changes, that increase of 1 FTE at Mystic River, Thames River due to grant ending and mental health support. Could you just give us a little more information about what that grant actually is? Is it a state grant, federal grant, and will it ever come back?
Sure. So that was an early childhood. So after COVID, we received quite a few grants targeting mental health for obvious reasons. And one of them was an early childhood mental health specialist. So we applied for the grant and received it. So we have a social worker who specializes in working with preschool and kindergarten age children, and she is split between Mystic River and Thames River. So this year is the last year of the grant. It will sunset in June. So we did move her over to the board's budget for next year.
Okay, thank you. Then my second question is actually on the numbers. So it's a net increase, of in 102 special ed certified of half an FTE. But then if you look at the numbers, the increase is, I think, 113,000 or so, which looks too large to me for half a FTE increase.
Yeah, we'll
I agree, but if you look at the budget for FY, what we're estimating to spend this year, I can look at it, but I'm not sure if enough was budgeted year to year.
Because we're already over budget there.
Correct.
Are you looking at one?
If you look at FY '26 budget and FY '26 estimated, we're over budget.
Back to what Denise was saying a few minutes ago regarding that grant that's being,
Yeah.
it was a 2-year grant, it
Yes.
sounds like.
Actually, I think it was a 3.
Three, but it was
Okay.
COVID.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was my question. They
Yeah.
give you a temporary sum of money, or a sum of money for a temporary period of time.
Yep.
Okay, and it seems as though almost every time that person now has been determined to be absolutely needed. If we didn't have the grant from the get-go, we never would have known if that person was needed, right?
Right.
I'm just having trouble figuring out the logic. It seems to me the logic behind the grant was it was a result of COVID to help people get over it. We're over COVID. Okay, so
A lot of our positions almost our entire ARBESSER went away. And we did lose a lot of tutors, and you're hearing board members hear from principals that they're still necessary. While COVID is over, there still are ramifications, especially in early childhood. The younger learners have really, some of them have really struggled. And so we're still seeing the need.
Right.
One of the things we've talked about in the Mary Morrison plan is to perhaps have her go there and be able to pay for her through that grant.
Right.
So there could be a chance that at least part of her salary or most of it could be there, because that's where she really has that expertise.
And one of the things she does, we have reduced the classroom paras in preschool in recent years. We used to have 2 paras in each preschool classroom, and we've reduced to 1. And one of the important roles that this position has taken on is supporting those teachers with students who are having difficulty with behavior, with, sitting through a circle time. For some of these students, it's their first time in school, so they're used to kind of being able to, not having to follow directions, follow a schedule. They're not used to waiting, taking turns. So she's been absolutely instrumental in supporting the teachers, because she'll come in and she'll take that child off to the side, and they'll play at a center or take the child for a walk or do an activity so that the teacher can continue to teach. And then support, the parents if they need to connect with an agency to get some maybe medication or see a developmental pediatrician. So she's been really, really helpful in that regard.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I make a comment regarding COVID? So, like for adults, maybe it's over, but for the kids who started like kindergarten, first grade, third grade, kindergarten, it's a generational thing. I don't think we'll see it really go away until like they graduate from high school, because some of those kids, like they were in kindergarten, they're sitting in front of a computer for half a day, a whole day, and they barely knew how to use a mouse. Do you know what I mean? And so that that socialness disappeared. So the interaction between those kids, very, when they're young, I'm not educationally trained, but like it just disappeared. And those kids are, I think now, like in 5th grade going into middle school. So they really do need the support. So that's why we're pushing for, like, whether it's tutors or any supplemental form of help that we can support those kids, because they may have missed out on something during those COVID years. I don't know why, but, like the teachers, principals say no more.
Yeah. Well, one of the unique talents that the social workers have is they're so well trained in terms of working with parents. And, there are parents that really, need support. And the social workers are wonderful with, just listening, helping problem solve, connecting them with resources in the community, following up again, making that connection with a community provider, kind of paving the way and supporting parents. And that benefits our students.
Do you have a hard time, Mike, you don't mind if I ask you a question?
Never.
Do you have a hard time finding social workers?
Well, we have recently, we have in our academy program at CB, we had and that's a specialized position, because you really need not only, to have all the skills we've been talking about this evening, but you also really need to have a specialty in working with kids with challenging behaviors. So that position was tough to fill, but we contracted for 2 years. And then the 3rd year, the agency said, you can go ahead and hire her. We're not going to charge you the fee. She's practically yours. She's been with you for 2 years. So we don't have to, try to hire our own social worker anymore, because we were able to hire her.
But if we wanted to hire one for Northeast and Charles Bonham, you think we'll have a hard time?
Well, we'd have to, as soon as we have that.
I don't know. I think it depends on if we can get the posting out early in the school year when some of the new graduates are looking. That's what we try to do, is, really recruit right when the graduates are looking. Or when other, more veteran staff are looking to change districts.
Mike, thank you, Denise.
Thank you. It was brought up earlier in the meeting, having that summary sheet, right, of like FTE shifted onto grants or off of grants. That'll be a very helpful resource, but what I was going to ask for is that towards the end of our process that we come back to that summary and maybe have an affirmative vote that we do want to add these positions either from a grant now and keep them onto this part of the budget, or if we're adding just brand new positions for any reason, to have that affirmative vote, because I think that clear endorsement would be helpful as it goes along the line. Because as we're talking about function, we gave specific reasons, but I think like that holistic view is important to put forward. And because of the pillars of success for strategic plan, I think it's very easy to point to where this fits into the needs of social work, for example.
That has been an anchor for us, hasn't it? Thank you, Anne Marie.
Mitch?
I keep hearing of a theme here. We're having trouble recruiting or bringing people in. And I'm wondering, does Groton Public Schools go on any campuses where teachers are being trained?
We have a very close connection with Avery Point, UConn Avery Point, and some of our interns in special education, I think in math and STEM, have come from them. And we've been able to have them as interns, and that's one of the really good ways to hook them in, and then, we've trained them ourselves and given them a really good, like the young man who's in math right now, and he's being, his mentor teacher is Laura, and, it's just been a wonderful year. So I think the more we do those kind of things, I think we are able to have that as a pathway.
Yeah, Lori.
Central and Southern.
Well, Lori and I have gone to UConn, to the NEAG school for job fairs.
Yeah,
So we have definitely done that.
The job fairs, right?
I've never been to Central or Southern, but we've been to the UConn NEAG school.
And how'd you make out?
Very good, very good. We hired someone.
And do they have job fairs every year?
Oh, yeah.
I believe they do.
Do you go every year?
I haven't been every year. It depends on whether we need to hire folks. Sometimes, for a while, we were having more vacancies around speech. Speech is really a tough area to fill. But it depends on where the vacancies are.
My employer, which will remain nameless, okay? We go on college campuses. I'm one of the people who goes. I've been doing it for a long time, and it means a lot, I think, to help get people in. It might be something we might want to have a separate discussion on.
Yeah.
Jen?
I was going to make the same comment, whether, don't ever think of it as wasting your time. Think of it as marketing, name recognition. Like, you go to those career fairs, whether you have one job or 10 jobs that you're recruiting for. Because the minute you disappear, they're going to be like, they were here last year, but they weren't here, like, for 2 years. You just have to go all the time. So, that's just a feedback from nameless, I too help out.
I'll volunteer.
Mitch will volunteer, see?
There you go.
Buy my own recruiting shirt.
I
You all set?
Yes.
And I brought this up before. I went on again on the school's LinkedIn page, and there's been no activity for 10 months. There hasn't been a post about hiring. That's an area that people are actively looking for jobs, so that's somewhere that we should be, it costs nothing. That's somewhere that we should be publicizing and promoting on a regular basis.
So Lori Lapine is on, so we'll talk about that tomorrow, the LinkedIn
Lori
page.
has her hand up.
Oh, okay. Lori?
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to jump in discussion about the career fairs. We do a full complement of career fairs in the spring. That's the hiring season for all the colleges and universities. So we do a full complement of those in the spring. We do others all year round. We also utilize as many grow-our-own programs as we can. So we have residency partnerships with multiple universities where students will come on site. And those are typically in the hard-to-fill areas. So when Denise is talking about areas like special education teachers and social workers, subjects like math, things like that, that's where we focus our efforts around Grow Our Own. We have several candidates in the pipeline currently that are in our own Grow Our Own program, including a social worker, not a social worker, school counselor candidate. So those are things that we do on every year, all the time basis. I will take a look at the LinkedIn comment because we do quite a bit of outreach and hiring posts on Facebook, and I'm not sure why it's not cross-posting to LinkedIn, so I'll follow up with communications on that.
And then don't you also post at some of the state sites that get out to the schools, send out to the schools, districts? too?
Yeah, we post everywhere. If it's in the educational environment, we're posting on it. We post with the CEA, we go to the CEA job fairs that they hold for certified staff. And we've been quite successful in finding people, even hard to fill positions.
And Lori, just on the LinkedIn piece, some of the jobs are out there on the page, but we haven't, as like Groton Public Schools LinkedIn page hasn't posted anything for 10 months. That's a good way to get promotion and get things that folks can share and get it out there.
Yeah, understood. We actually do that outreach on Facebook. That's why I'm saying I'm not sure why it's not getting cross-posted to LinkedIn, because we actually send out outreach communications through another social media platform. So I will follow up on that.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for that information, yeah.
Anything else? Go ahead.
Lori, if you can look at Handshake too, that's another place.
Yeah, we're posting all of our jobs on Handshake.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't even know about that one.
Thank you. Yep.
Yeah, oh, good. I'm out of touch. So, guidance, we can do guidance maybe, and I think we're almost there with yours. You got maybe a couple more.
So guidance has 6 counselors, middle school, high school, with an additional 0.6 counselor in the Career Center at Fitch High School. So the FTEs remain consistent from last year to this year with a total of 12.6. And then each school has one administrative assistant to support the guidance counselors in the guidance office, and that is staying consistent with last year's staffing as well.
Mike?
Yeah, so this one, I think, if you look in the budget numbers, on the line 104, it's up by $153,000, and there's no FTE change. I think this is connected to a question I have. We didn't go over it tonight, but 1104, language arts, where all of a sudden there's a guidance position that's not in there. And I don't know why there would be one in language arts.
Because we have a teacher slash guidance counselor who's dually certified, and she was a teacher in language arts and now is a guidance counselor. So I don't know. I mean, there were no additional guidance counselors.
No.
So.
No, we'll have to check on
there's
that.
Kind of a loss on 1104, which it makes sense with that. And there's a gain here. But I guess they were just a guidance counselor last year too? I don't know. So
She
is
was.
this 1104, 11, or 2120 question? Is this 153,000?
Oh, yeah, you said that. Yeah, I mean, I read that question.
But the difference isn't significant. You've got 1.3 million for 26 and 27.
Yeah, but is it like maybe
So from one year to the next, Rita.
And 1104 didn't go down.
That doesn't seem
Oh,
appropriate.
well, if you look at,
The guidance did 104 goes away. Like
the guidance in
no-
104 because it was never spent, so I have a feeling the dollars
Yeah,
didn't go with the FTE.
yeah.
Like the 55,000 we were just talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because if you look at 1104, that guidance wasn't spent this year, wasn't spent last year, but there's a budget there,
Yeah.
right?
or it could be
But we haven't increased, you're right, no more FTEs. This is
Right,
the
so
number.
if the dollars
Took
are
over
not,
for someone who left.
I can't explain why the dollars were there if the FTE didn't change.
the only thing I could think of is there was one position that was in our budget that went into a grant, and then maybe the grant's done now until the person's back. Susan, Joe Portman.
Yeah, we did have that too.
Was that a guidance counselor?
Yes,
But it's still, she's part of the 6.
count-wise, but salary-wise,
But maybe the salary.
the salary might have been in the grant, so that could be one of the things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to look at last year's budget
Yeah.
to
So those are
figure it
2
out.
people we can look at.
Potentially look at.
So yeah, I guess I was trying to find the answer, but my question is 2120,
Right.
104. How come it's up 153,000 with no FTE change? You don't have to answer that right now, but that's
Yeah, that's one that we're going to be looking into, because it also depends on, when we bring staff in, we're budgeting at 65,000, but we're hiring at 100,000. I'm just giving you an example.
Yeah.
That how the dollars can go up, the FTE does not go up, but I am going to look into that
Yeah.
because it's on your list.
Yeah, I think that one's too large for that reason, but I understand that too.
So you'll get
Yeah, I
that
have to
back.
like compare last year's people with this year's
Yeah.
people.
You
Yep.
have to look at the actual people.
And then the other big item for this budget would be the pupil tests. That's gone up about 16,000. And I believe that's for the IB AP tests. Is that correct, Susan?
They are partially refunded through free and reduced lunch and the State Department. But I have to ask Matt if he put in the full amount or the partial amount, so I'll find out.
Right. And then there's some funds for supplies.
Could also be the
And travel.
lost links for the seal by literacy as well.
Okay.
So there's a few tests that
Okay.
we have.
Any questions on 679?
Just the pupil test at 607, I can understand why there would be an increase if it's for IB and AP, because we have more people taking it, which is great success, more classes. And I can understand why this year we haven't spent that much, but the year before we only spent about almost 10,000. So I'm wondering if it's potentially over budgeted.
Or if that was under budgeted. We have to find out.
Oh, I'm looking at what was spent,
It's early in the year. Most assessments happen in the spring.
Correct, but I'm looking
At last
2 years
year.
ago.
Yeah.
It was right under 10,000.
Right.
And now we're estimating like 8,500.
That's
right?
good. That's great.
So we had a NIMSI grant, National Math Initiative grant, Math Science Initiative. With that, we got a lot of training and they paid for tests. So we had a couple, I would say we were under that grant for about 4 years, so most of our tests
Okay.
are being paid for AP-wise
Okay.
through that NIMSI organization. Other than
Has that
LHS.
sunsetted? Okay.
Okay.
Is the,
But we can look to be specific, that's just my memory working.
Yeah, IB tests are in function 1117.
Okay. So those are just AP?
This must be,
Could be PSATs too,
yeah, it could be PSATs. Yeah,
because they take,
Matt will know.
every grade level.
Because that came from the
Yeah, they all take PSATs.
Can we note to make sure to ask Matt that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yep.
And he'll be here when we do this,
When we do secondary.
when we do secondary, so he can speak to
Yeah.
it too.
we'll give him a heads up, so he has
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he could prepare something.
And we're all set with a .6 career guidance counselor?
Well, we ask her each year, because I know you guys have requested that, so, we kind of put that out to her when she's ready. Even if she asks, even if, we can do an extra .2, maybe,
And I'm the meanie, right? Because like if we need one and she's only willing to work 0.5 and I know she's great.
She's .6.
For 0.6, if we need one, we may need to reevaluate and get someone who's 1 and not 0.6. Or we get 1.6. I know it's probably not the best statement because Mary Love, very, she's doing a really, really great job, but the need of the district must come first for the students so that they can either apply to colleges, look at careers, whatever it may be. There. It is what it is. You take it for what it is.
I'll have to ask Matt.
Exactly.
Is needed full point. a full.
I said it last year. I'll say it again. Yeah.
I think Ian said the same thing last year.
I think so, too. He's got it.
If you needed one and she doesn't want to do the other point, and if she doesn't want to do the other point 4, to go ahead. Same
And
thing
get
as-
another part-time person, so
or-
maybe we have 2 part-time people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whatever it may be.
Right.
Like one supports 9, 10, and then another supports 11, 12, whatever it may be. One supports grants, one support, whatever. If we need it, we need it, right? Because the kids need help, right? To be able to acquire a position or to be able to, for colleges and universities, so. And scholarships and grants. That's the key.
Ian?
Thank you, yeah, appreciate you focusing on this, and yeah, just, I'm not gonna reiterate everything that Jim said, I agree. But I would just ask, like, have we done any research into what the best practices are as far as like percentage-wise per capita per student? Like what do other districts do? What's the average? What's recommended to have? Because I mean, really, like at the end of the day, we should be talking about student-centered education. Like this is also, I mean, this is our main purpose as a public high school is to help students figure out which way they're going to go when they get out of high school.
What do you mean, Ian, by per capita? What are you talking about, per capita?
Per student, like, I mean, as far as like, what's the ratio? What's the recommended ratio? What's the industry standard?
Okay, yeah, because now ours is 1 to 250. So you're saying, let's research and see what other school districts have as far as their counselor to student ratio?
Exactly.
Okay.
And career counselor in particular.
Okay.
Yeah, the American School Counselor Association actually recommends 1 counselor for 250 students. And we're in line with that, with our enrollment. The caseloads are about 152, 160.
So we're even better.
Yeah, we're even better.
Did you hear what Denise said, Ian?
That's for guidance counselor or for career counselor?
Oh, just for a guidance counselor in general. I don't know if they would specify career, but we can check.
Yeah, I'd like to have that delineated, because guidance counselor is one thing, but career counselor is another. In my experience, anyway.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else? All right, moving right along.
So we have the nurses, the health services.
Yep. So we are seeing an increase in students with chronic medical conditions at Charles Barnum. So we've increased the nursing staff at Barnum from 1.0 to 1.2. So we've added an extra day to support the nurses. Without going into detail, we have a couple students that are young with really, serious chronic medical conditions. And then we have 1 nurse in every building. We have 2 nurses at Groton Middle. And we have a district-wide nurse that goes to Sacred Heart School. So
How do you get that .2?
it would be 1 extra day.
Oh,
So it's an additional day to help the nurses for Charles Barnum. So 1 day there'll be 2 nurses on.
where do you get that second nurse from?
We have some nice substitutes that have been we've been hiring to fill in. So we would see if one of them wanted a guaranteed 1 day.
Oh, okay.
We've had some nice luck. There's a lot of nurses that work per diem at night and are looking to work in the schools during the day. They do it part-time. So Sue Chappell and I, the supervisor, have really been able to build up our bank of substitute nurses and health aides.
And does she go the same day every week, or do the days vary?
I think it would be the same day every week, so they can plan on her being there.
Now, Sacred Heart, we get a little bit of a grant. I don't know if
We do.
but we put
About $69,000.
I thought it was
No.
less than that.
It's way less, and it goes to the town. we do not
How
get
much
that.
was it? It was,
We're talking about the Sacred Heart nurse?
Yeah, I thought it was
it's only
about
like
60,000. Oh, wow. Okay.
Why do we call it?
Boy, that's
district-wide?
decreased.
It has over the years.
Wow.
Way, way low.
I think that's just the way it was coded as district-wide.
I thought-
We do,
When I saw the district-wide, I thought it was the float nurse.
right. No, we
you put the nurse in Groton Middle because she was needed, right?
Sacred Heart has a really small population, so there's been times where we've had to pull the Sacred Heart nurse to cover a building if we can't find a sub. We don't like to do that. We don't do it regularly, but we have done it on occasion.
And we only get 21,000.
The town does.
The town does. And then we pay the difference.
No, it's in our budget. Like, they get the revenue.
They call it revenue.
They call it revenue.
Comes
Just
in.
like excess cost and all of the other revenue sources that they get. It's the same.
So we pay the full amount for the nurse, but they get the 21,000.
It's called revenue. It offset the.
Most of the revenue goes to the town.
Most of the revenue goes
Yeah.
there.
It offset what?
The taxpayer. So that's money that the taxpayer doesn't have to spend.
I don't get it. Because we're paying for the nurse. Why don't we get it?
Well, remember, we had the whole issue with the town because they used to pay for all of the nurses, and then we took them over.
Yeah. And they got the revenue then.
Well, and it's kind of like our ECS is revenue. And it's a big chunk, 25 million, and it comes, it's a pass-through. So it's stated as revenue. It comes to the town to offset education. So the taxpayer doesn't have the full amount.
Okay.
What was the total revenue when you put it together? Like, do you remember? We'll have to show that to the board.
No, but we got to do that chart for you, yeah.
Yeah, I'll share that with you.
Which has a question?
I just want to remind everybody, we're all taxpayers here, too.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, I'm
So it's a
smart.
good thing that they don't have to, that taxpayers aren't paying for the whole thing.
But you mentioned Sacred Heart.
By law, we
By law.
have to provide a nurse for the parochial school.
Oh,
It's one of those.
Yeah.
okay,
If it's located in our district.
It's in the district.
Yeah.
okay.
And the bus. And the bus.
And the bus,
Yeah.
you'll see that.
But we get reimbursed, Mitch, through a grant, but it's decreased significantly.
And it doesn't.
And the money goes to the town.
Don't you think they want to give that to us so that
The whole 21,000.
Just learned a lot.
I do want to comment on the second page that there's a formula fix that I have to do on the total salaries. Yeah, we
Where is
noticed
the
that when we,
formula fix?
it says 0% increase.
Oh, yeah. that-
Remember, we noticed that when we were going through it today.
Yeah.
So I will fix that. And can I just make one comment about the guidance increase? If you look at this year's budget, it's way under budget. So if this year's under budget, it's going to increase a lot because of the raises and the, so I have a feeling on the guidance page,
Let me see.
That could have
Your
been,
estimate is 1 point, that's what I was trying to point out.
Yeah.
The estimate's at 1.318, and we're even at this time, right?
right, at
that's
this time, we're
encumbered.
over budget at this time of the year. So that's probably the difference, but I can still research it because there's no
No, I think
FTE,
that's it.
there's no way FTE change, but we're over budget.
Mike says that's it. When Mike speaks, it's like,
Under budgeted, Mike, last year.
That's what it looks like.
So do you do some kind of a math extension on that then, based on what we've spent so far, and then estimate out?
Well, what we do is there's encumbrances for every teacher in there that we know how much we're going to pay them through June 30th.
So no surprise.
That's what the estimated is.
Yeah, that needs-
It's the encumbrance.
Yeah. We've gotten better.
And we've
and
been
better at it.
reviewing the encumbrances recently, so if there's any big change, I will obviously let you know, but my staff have been reviewing all the teachers to make sure they're accurate.
That's the biggest part.
It's the biggest one, yeah.
Jim, you have a question, Jim?
No, I was just saying that's a good thing to point out.
Yeah.
It's something.
Yeah, because we're under this year.
Is there a way in, like, say, functions in Excel or anything that you could see if there's other areas where we're estimated higher than we're budgeted for next year? Because that's two right there. There's
Well,
nurses, there's nurses, there's guidance. We have all these different areas. Is there a way to get ahead of this?
When we review the current financials in the next board meeting, you can see where we're under budgeted.
Okay.
If that's
And where we're
yeah, and where we have surplus available budgets. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that does. No.
All right. Ready to go on? Okay. Should we move on from the nurses? Any other questions about this page?
And the program description is pretty detailed. So are we doing
Okay.
school psychology?
Yep, the next page are our school psychologists. We have 11 school psychologists in the district. We have one psychologist in every school. Our larger schools, Mystic River and Thames, have a 0.5. And Groton Middle has 3. Fitch High School has 2. Some of those additional school psychologists at the secondary level are in some of our specialized classrooms for students who need more psychological support in terms of behavior regulation, counseling, de-escalation strategies, and services such as that. We're not recommending any changes to our staffing for our school psychologists. On page 83, in terms of their wages, I'm not sure why we see that $139,000 increase.
That I'll have to look at, because if you look at this year and last year, we're not that much over.
We like to find these things and then go back, and then we can, she's already developed a tracker that will go through every object code as we start laying this out and we start finding areas where we can reduce. We've already found quite a few.
Have you had turnover in that area, Denise?
Yeah, I have, yes.
Because if we have turnover
True.
and we budget $65,000, but we hire a $100,000 teacher, that's a huge increase. So 12% to me is not that high if we're hiring psychologists at step 10 or 12. I can look at.
We had 2 new psychologists this school year in the department, and they're both veterans from other districts.
That could be 100,000 maybe.
Yeah.
But our estimated, this
Yeah.
page, our estimated, quite still.
No, I'm talking about, I see what you're saying. But if they come in at one step, there's one step that's a big increase. It's a $10,000 increase. So I have to see what step they're moving to next year.
Okay, so you're saying like year 2.
You know,
or
year 2
3
could be a jump.
Could be a $10,000.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, that makes sense.
Staff and the steps.
That makes sense. Thank you.
So, the question is, who approves that? So let's say we budget 65.
I'm just giving an example. Yep.
Examples, so we'll go with the examples. So we're budgeting 65, we expect the average salary, because that must have come from like an average salary of something at one point to
Average
develop the
teacher
budget.
salary in the beginning.
At
In the beginning.
65, in the beginning. But then
Possibly.
we can't get a newbie, a fresh person, so now we're like hiring like 100, 110. So who's approving basically the position increase? Because that's a different role now. So instead of a new hire and someone coming, we now have like 5 years, 10 years. So who's approving that? Because that's salary creep, right? And if we continue to do that, like our average salary would continue to increase. The person who's here, when we're adding the percentage increase will increase. So then salary will continue.
Yeah.
So who's monitoring that we're hiring above our average salaries and what we had originally budgeted for?
So it's really a collaborative effort between my department, the principal of the building, and Susan and Lori. And sometimes we don't have a lot of options because this is another shortage area. So when you're looking at school psychologists, speech pathologists, they're a shortage area statewide. So some of them, you know, can write their ticket, basically. They're very hard to fill.
And some positions, we actually get less than that number that we've set aside. And then in others, like I said, that are higher, higher to, harder to fill.
Yeah.
We might be spending more.
So maybe if we know that turnover is X and we're anticipating a turnover next year, I think it's too late for this budget. And we anticipate, we know average salary is like 70, but realistically, we can't hire anyone until 100. You put the 100 in the budget, right? And we need to explain it's market driven rather than us having to come in unfavorable to our budget and explain it to the town.
Yeah. If we know, right now in terms of retirements, we haven't had any. So sometimes these resignations come about in the summer. And what we'd be looking at if we don't hire directly through the board at a higher rate or higher step is contracting with a staffing agency, which is like at least $50,000 more because you're paying the recruiter, the agency fee, but we have to have someone because it's an IEP service.
Exactly, but you know that. You just told us that, so...
Not if we get a resignation in the summer.
No, but whether you know that they're going to retire or resign, if you're going to say, I expect turnover, at least one turnover a year, my average salary is 70, but market rate right now is 100. If you're expecting that you're going to have one turnover, you plan for the 100.
And we don't always get that. Sometimes we have, even in this area, we've gotten new sites.
That's the case in the vacancies. It's not a case when we're hiring to replace because we didn't know that person was leaving. So you can't, the budget of 65 is for vacancies. It's not for turnover that we replace right away.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so the person, I'm working and I'm making 50,000.
Yeah.
I never got a raise. And then now we're hiring someone at 100. Whatever. Okay, got it.
Yeah, it'd be hard to plan if they leave in the summer, we hire in August. There's no placeholder.
And even with the ups and the downs, we do tend to end up okay. We've always ended up in a good place, so. But we might want to be able to predict it better. I mean, I see you nodding your head. Be able to give it a little lift so that.
Just on the vacancies, we should look at the average now, not the average before.
Yeah.
That's all.
From a budgeting and planning perspective, have we ever looked at any kind of a retirement incentive, early notification, where we could have a cost savings? It's in their contract?
It's in their contract. They have to tell us early.
I just think that's a good way
Where they get
to be fiscal with public funds.
End result.
Like a severance.
Their severance.
Severance.
At the end of the year.
If
And if
they
you
tell us.
don't do it by the date, then you wait a year.
Do you know what that date is by any chance?
December or January 1st.
It's January.
It's before,
January.
yeah, it's right around budget time because when we got retirement, I was reducing it. Yep.
So we can have a better idea, but that doesn't mean that some people don't make up their mind later.
Or just leave.
Yeah, but I mean, they wouldn't get the incentive if they
Yeah, I'm not
make
saying
up their mind
retirement.
later. I'm just
Right.
Leaving.
What, can you tell, if you know, can you
Yeah.
tell Sean what the incentive is?
It's in
Lori,
the
are you
contract.
on there?
know because she does the retirement.
You do the retirement.
Yes, I'm here.
The severance,
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the teachers.
It's a per diem, it's a calculation of their per diem salary times the years of service.
And that's for early retirement. Is that if they notify us that they're retiring?
By January 15th, that's correct.
15.
But they still would get it the following year if they don't give us it within the specified time, right?
Correct, there's a 1-year delay if they don't notice us by January 15th for the year, to retire that school year.
Since that date just passed, have we looked at if there's anyone that applied that would be able to be a cost savings for the budget?
Yeah, we've already applied them all.
You've applied them all, okay.
Yeah, I shared them with Rita. Rita took a salary reduction for all of the retirements that we have to date.
And no school psychologists, I hope.
No one has retired, no.
No.
Any other questions on this page?
I see, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Mitch?
Well, I mean, this may have been when I was in the head before, but lines 211 and 212 are zero. Workman's comp is Social Security.
Yeah, I think.
That's all centralized now. It's
Oh,
in
okay.
one central location.
Yeah, you've only said it.
That's okay.
Thank you.
No worries. It throws the numbers. It throws the numbers.
It won't even be in here next year.
Right, the previous year.
I just was going to say, I have one more little pink sheet for Denise, and that kind of wraps her up.
No speech.
So we were able to get through a little more special ed
Yeah.
for everyone.
Yeah, good job, Denise. We'll
Yeah.
wrap you up and put a bow on it.
I didn't have to see us for a while.
Thank you, everybody.
3 years in a row.
Yeah. So we have 13 speech pathologists in the district. There is an additional, actually we have 14 because we have ECAT. I always forget to add our ECAT SLP. So we have 2 at Charles Barnum. That's where the ECAT speech path is coded to. So 1 for the building and 1 for Charles Barnum, 1 for ECAT. We have 1.5 at Catherine Klomaski Magnet. We have 1.0 at Northeast. We have 3 at Mystic River because we have so many preschool and autism classrooms. And we have 3 at Thames River because of, again, the preschool classrooms. So there's 10.5 for the elementary, and then we have 2 at Groton Middle, and we have 1.5 at Fitch High School for a total of 14. And again, in terms of the salaries, we have had some turnover in this group. So I would guess that the increase is probably attributed to folks coming in at a higher rate. Because this group is, we've seen a lot of change, a lot of mobility within our speech pathologist group. This is, again, another shortage area. Hard to attract speech pathologists. I think their program to be certified is quite rigorous. So not as many college students going into this field, unfortunately. However, we do have money allocated for their testing because they do administer individual tests to students, and we do have supplies. They do a lot of instruction in terms of expressive language, receptive language, pragmatic language, which is social language, and then articulation. And lastly, this group is really developing an expertise in what's called AAC. It's alternative augmentative communication. So we're seeing an increase in students who really aren't able to use their expressive language skills and need a device like an iPad with a special app to assist them in communicating. And our speech paths are very, very knowledgeable and experienced at trialing different apps, at modeling and coaching paraprofessionals, special ed teachers and parents, and of course teaching students. So that's a whole field that really has increased significantly within the past 10 years.
Do they also have to get a medical licensed speech and language? I think
Yep,
they're-
they have to be licensed with the Department of Public Health. And that's under the dues and fees.
Right, I thought
The
so.
$4,000. Contractually, I think as of their last contract 3 years ago, they negotiated to get reimbursed for their license, their fee.
And that will continue with this one.
And that's in the new contract, too.
So when we pay for their license, do we have a caveat where they have to stay with us for X amount of years?
No.
I mean, because then they could take their license and go somewhere else.
Well, they have 2 licenses. They have a certification from the Department of Ed, 061 is the speech path cert, and then they have to be licensed through the Department of Public Health. That's a requirement. That's what we pay for. Yeah, that's a
We don't put
requirement.
Caveat that they have to give
No.
us X amount of years.
No.
No next negotiations.
Yeah. I mean, they do that in the military, they do that at colleges. If you work at the college, you pay for the degree, you have to stay there a certain amount of time, so
Yeah.
it makes
It's
sense.
hard enough to get them already.
It is very hard to get them.
That
Yeah.
would make your life a lot
Yeah.
easier.
We have a
You
great
guarantee
group.
you had somebody for 4 years.
Yeah.
We want to make sure we keep them if we're paying for their
I know, but
license.
Yeah.
we get a lot of, sometimes we get military spouses too that come
Yeah.
and will work for us for a couple of years and they're worth their weight in gold for those couple of years, but then they leave. Or people get transferred.
Yeah.
So,
But they're a great group.
If they transfer there, it is what it is, but if they're not, you know.
I don't think it's much. I think it's probably, $200 maybe. Lori, do you know what their license costs? I know that goes sometimes through HR. It's not that expensive.
Yeah, it's only about $200.
Yeah.
So that's why we don't do any, because
Yeah.
it just allows them to operate clinically while they're in the position. It's not like a tuition where we've paid a lot of,
Right.
paid out a lot of funds. Those we do have repayment agreements on.
Okay, all right, thank you, Lauren.
You're welcome.
Any questions on page 84, 85?
now that kind of wraps up for tonight. We got a lot accomplished. Thank you.
Yeah, we did. You're welcome. Thanks.
Sir, can you give us the
Motion to adjourn.
8:40, and we are adjourned. All those in favor?
All right.
You want to do a roll call vote?